Hi everyone, welcome to Module 2 of Comprehensive Personal Care Formulation Study Program. And we will be talking about Beginner Cosmetic Science 2, how to understand and improve basic cosmetic formulations to a commercial level 2. So we've already finished our Module 1 course. For those who haven't done that course, it's not yet late. You can always enroll in that because this is an individual course per module, but you'll probably find, as you go on, you'll probably find some of the courses would need an introduction or knowledge of the previous course. So that's um, up to you to decide. So let's go ahead and start once again. So we kickstart ahead by making a facial mist on module 1. So you're probably starting to do some samplings in your lab now and trying to make that perfect formula for a toner mist, for a toner or a mist. That is good. That is actually what I expect you to do. Doing these samplings and trying to write or perfect a formula in the early stage of our course will help you put your learnings into context later when I talk you through the how and why of ingredient selection process, which will be on, I believe it's on module 4. Now, let me give you more formula for your studying and guides to be able to make this perfect product you're aiming for. Okay, the learning outcome for module 2 will be formularies to learn on hair wash and how we're able to write a formula about anything about hair wash. So I'll be giving you a guide on how to do that. Hair conditioning formula, a balm formula, and then at the end of this module 2, I expect you to be able to write a cosmetic formula through the guidelines, through the model that I'm going to be giving you, or probably you can start with the freebie formularies that I'm going to give you together with module 2. Okay, what is surfactant? Because we will be learning about hair wash, it is important that we understand what surfactant is. So to make it really simple for those who doesn't have a strong chemistry background, for entrepreneurs, for those who's treating this course as a hobby or hobby. This is as simple as I can give to you. Surfactant is a substance with an oil-loving and water-loving portion. So chemists or cosmetic chemists is pretty much familiar with this, with these surfactants, and this is as simple as I can give it to you. Now, there are different names of surfactants, and we as cosmetic scientists or cosmetic chemists, we call surfactants based on what they do, what is their purpose. Okay, so we have solubilizers, and that is one surfactant that we used when we did our module 1, isn't it? Because we use solubilizers for creating our toner or mist. So solubilizers are surfactants that solubilizes fragrances and essential oils, a surfactant that create clear solution. Okay, so as I said, we call these types of surfactants based on what they do in our formulations. Emulsifiers are also called surfactants. These are emulsifiers or surfactants in wet form. They are surfactants that create emulsions or white lotions and creams. Okay. And then, of course, the term or the name surfactants equal to surfactants that create foaming formulas, like the ones that we will be using in module 2. Now, there are 3 commonly used surfactants to achieve a best formula. Now, when you want to create a foaming formula, what are those foaming formulas? They are shampoos, there are facial wash, body wash, and so on. There's a lot of products that you can create as a foaming formula. So as I said here, it says the best build for your foaming formula should contain anionic, amphoteric surfactant, and non-ionic surfactant. Now, anionic surfactants are negatively charged substances. An example of those are SLS, which we are quite familiar with, sodium lauryl sulfate, sodium lauryl ethyl sulfate, which people are trying to avoid in these days. Okay? So other alternatives that could be found in the Handbook of Green Chemicals, we've got sodium lauryl sarcosinate, sodium cocoa glutamate, sodium cocoa sulfate, and so many others. The list can actually go on. For number two, we've got non-ionic surfactants, which are the no-charge substances. Examples of non-ionic surfactants are, again, the solubilizers, the solubilizer that we use on Module 1, polysorbate 20, capryl glucoside, co-glucoside, decyl glucoside, and so many others in the market. Okay, next will be amphoteric, which is positively charged when greater than pH of 7 and negatively charged when less than 7. An example of that is coca midopropyl betaine. So this is quite this is very common in the industry, the coca midopropyl betaine that we use in any mild formulations because it makes our anionic substance or anionic materials to become less irritant. Okay? So with the addition of amphoteric surfactants, anionic surfactants become less uh, irritating. Okay? Okay, to continue, let me just correct what I said. I just reviewed my video, my recording, and I just said amphoteric equals positively charged when pH is less than 7. Okay, so I'm trying to correct the previous one that I said. And negatively charged when pH is greater than 7. So that is coca-midopropyl betaine. Okay, to continue, I'm giving you here an example of, by the way, you will, all right, so to continue, I've given you here a Seaweed clarifying shampoo formula as your startup formula for a hair wash. And we've got here, as you can see, we've got phase A, B, C, phase D, phase E, and phase F for our pH adjuster at the end of the formulary. So if you will check this on our next slide, you'll find out that this will be based on this surfactant foaming products formula guide. So I wrote this formula based on the other slide, which is the guide that I created for you to follow and for you to be guided once you are writing your own formula on hair wash, a shampoo specifically, or even a body wash. Because if you will check here, there are guidelines, not only, for example, for solubilizer in the formula, it says on phase A, it will be 1.5% to 5% of solubilizers, which I listed several solubilizers that we can probably find in the market. And then another phase A, we've got here It says up to 1% maximum and combined vegetable oils. Because guys, vegetable oils are what are going to give you a marketing story. So people or consumers would usually look for what is special in your product. So there's a lot of products out there and you need to build your story and convince people why they should buy your product. Okay, another phase A, just to show you that this formulary guide will actually is not only for hair, this could also be used for the face, for your body, and of course for the hair and so on. So I'm giving you here the percentage that you will use whenever you build a formula. Like for example, on one of the phase A's, if you will be using fragrance oil, um, we are allowed to use, you may use 0.1% there to 0.2% of fragrances for the face. Then for the body, you're allowed to use 0.3% to 0.5%. That's just about it. And then if you're going to be using essential oil, there's also a separate percentage or guide for you to use during writing of your formulas. So it's really out there. You have all the guides that you can use for you to be able to write your own hair wash formula and so on. The lists are all here for you to be able to create an effective product without worrying if am I doing the right thing? Am I adding the right amount of these ingredients and so on? So here are your guides. It's complete. It's got the solubilizer that solubilizes your fragrances and essential oils if you want to create a clear facial wash, for example. You've got the amount of vegetable oils up to maximum of 1% combined for your building your story and for your marketing purposes. And you've got the antioxidants to protect your, not only to protect, but give you antioxidant beneficial properties on your product and also to protect rancidity of the oils in the formula. Then we have how much total combined of active content that you can use for your building up and how much of a specific surfactant you're allowed to use whenever you're creating something for the face and something for hair and body. So it's all listed here. You also have how much of our anti-irritant or some coca midocrapyl betaine that we use for so that our anionic surfactant will be less irritating. Everything is actually here. Now, if you'll notice, like here at coca midocrapyl betaine, it says close and open parentheses, it says 30% because that is what is the content of our cocoa betaine when we purchase it from our suppliers. It's actually diluted. It's dilution, right? Dilution method. So uh, same goes with some of the surfactants that we purchase from our suppliers. It comes as a dilution. Let's go back to the formulary. So this is the seaweed clarifying shampoo that you may use for your startup formula. And then you can start from here. You can tweak your formula based on this formulary, based on what you would like to achieve on your product. Okay, the things to remember when creating a foaming formula. Number one, surfactants come as dilutions. It's usually up to 70% water and 30% will be your active surfactant. I'll be teaching you, I'll be teaching you how to do this later on our next module so that you'll understand how I come up with this formula. Okay, and then I think it's let me just browse through here. Yeah, I'll be teaching you that here on module 2 in a bit later. Let's go back there. Then whenever we have xanthan gum as part of our thickener and uh, extra additives in the formula, we need to do the slurry method. Remember the ones that I showed you? Um, uh, the ones that I showed you on one of the videos, we did a slurry method on xanthan gum with the glycerine. In a foaming formula, when you mix gum with free water and at the start, you will end up with a gummy layer. So we don't add our slurry to the water phase of our formulary, but uh, we will add it later once it's already set as a slurry. Now, if you add surfactant at a later stage, it will introduce a lot more water because remember, our surfactants come as a dilution and it's got 70% water depending on what particular surfactant you are using. Now, where do we get this information? Of course, these informations are coming from our suppliers. They usually tell us how much active content there are in a specific material or surfactant. Best method, again, is to combine solubilizers, okay, which at the start we will combine our solubilizer as part of our surfactant together with all. That's why if you will notice they're all on phase A there. We've got the polysorbate 20 will be combined together with the essential oil or fragrance oil blend and vitamin E. Okay, and then combined solubilizer plus essential oils plus surfactants, which will be on phase B, okay, and then plus phase C's, okay, which are the water part, and then we will combine phase D, which is our slurry gum. So that's how we're going to create this seaweed clarifying shampoo. Okay, so again, here is our surfactant foaming product formula guide. I have sort of discussed it to you a while ago. So I'll go ahead and read this. How do we write surfactants in the formula? Now, number one, if you want to input or use 7% of sodium lauryl sarcosinate, as an example, for example, in your formula, once you are building your formula, you would like to use only 7% of sodium lauryl sarcosinate in the formula. Now, remember, sodium lauryl sarcosinate comes in dilution of 70-30. So we've got only 30% of active surfactant in your material. Okay, so if you're going to be using 7% of, like for example, let's check here, we use 21%, yeah, 21% of sodium lauryl sarcosinate in the formula. So how do you get to know how much actives are there with that, how much of the active content of SLS or sodium lauryl sarcosinate are there in a 21% um, uh, weight for weight, right? So as I said here, if you will check this input, 7 divided by, what we will do is you've decided to just use 7% here. So what we will do, we divide 7 to 30%. So 7 divided by 30 Remember, 30% active content is what we have in our supplied sodium lauryl glycosinate. So 7 divided by 30 will equal to 0.23333, and the list of the threes go on. Then you multiply to 100 times 100 will give you 23.33%. So this will be our sodium lauryl glycosinate input in the formula. Let's check on this. So here we've got, are we right about that? Okay, to continue. Yes, so with 7% active content of sodium lauryl glycosinate in the formula, this is how we write it in our formula build. So you will have an input of 23.33% of sodium lauryl glycosinate, which will give you 7% of total active content in the formula. So meaning you only have 7% active, 7% of SLS or sodium lauryl glycosinate in the hair wash formula. Just like here, as I said here, we've got 6.3% active content of sodium lauryl glycosinate, 30%. See, I know there's a lot of math calculations, but I'll guide you through it as we continue with this is how you understand how to write a formula and understand how these percentage that are given to us by our suppliers affect the concentration of the actives in the formula. So not necessarily I gave you 21% here would mean that you have 21% of sodium lauryl glycosinate already. So you only have 6.3% active content because of the dilution. Because our sodium lauryl glycosinate comes as a diluted material of 70% water and 30% of active content. The same goes if you purchase coca midopropyl it comes as a 30% dilution unless informed by your supplier. Okay, so the information that from our suppliers are really very, very important to us so that we understand how to treat a specific material in our formulation. So now guys, I know it's a little bit confusing at this point, but take it slowly. You can always, what's good about this online tutorial is that you have the copy of these modules and you can always go back and forth and check and verify and compile them and save them wherever. So you can always go back and check if you're doing the right thing. Like for example, this is an initial guide because I gave you an example of a clarifying shampoo. Now, if you will check on our formula guide, I suggest you always refer to this table so that you will be guided on what you are making. Okay? So, if you will verify, you would like to check if you're doing the right thing, for example, it says using sodium lauryl glycosinate for the body or the hair, we're allowed to use up to 10%. Up to 10%. So let's go back. Did we follow that? So yes, because we use 6.3% active content for our hair shampoo. So with 6.3% active, we're able to get 21% using the formulary that I gave you here on how we could calculate for our active content whenever we're given diluted material. Okay, so you just have to refer to this table and check if you are within the limit that for you to be able to correct your writing up or building of a formula at this very point. Okay, always refer to this table so that you will be guided. Okay, now let's continue. Now again, so that you will not just look at this module slides every time, I have here, if you will notice, I have a really tiny bit of information for you. It's an OALC product formulation build for module 2. See Excel file. That means I'm going to be giving you an Excel file of the 3 products that I'm talking about today. One is the foaming wash formula, a formula build or formula guide for a balm, yeah, and another one for a conditioning formula. So you will have 3 formula build or formula guide to follow and to refer to whenever you're writing a formula for your own skincare line. So let me just give you a quick brief of what this slide is all about. So a balm formulation guide. Remember all ingredients of a balm. If you're creating a balm, must be oil soluble. Antioxidants is required for all balm formularies. Various waxes yield different effects, so sampling is the key to perfecting the texture of your balm. Beeswax, for example, will give you some flexibility and shine. Candelilla and Carnauba will give you great shine, but it's not flexible. Okay, alter inputs to achieve balm or stick formula. When I talk about inputs, I'm talking about your percentage weight for weight input so that you'll be able to achieve. That means you need to do a lot of sampling for you to be able to create a perfect formula, which is actually very easy now because I'm giving you a guide on on how to create your own skincare line. Then combine wax inputs to achieve shine and flexibility. Butters are to a maximum of 10% to avoid undesirable climate changes to balm consistency. So, like in the formula that I will be giving you on our balm, um, either I'm not sure if it's a balm or the conditioning formula that I gave you. Oh yeah, it's a balm, of course. We're talking about the balm. I gave you only 8% shea butter because we're only allowed to use up to 10% so that it will not affect the consistency once it travels to other regions. Okay, when you're shipping, it goes from hand to hand, from different vehicle to vehicle, different temperatures and all that. So pour off. So it's not true that when you add more butters to your balm, it'll give you more hardness because these butters has very low melting point. Now, pour off when fully melted, but allow product to cool to room temperature before capping. So, there you go. So, the rest will be up to you. I'll be showing you how to create a barrier lip balm on one of our videos and a conditioning formula later on how to do it. And then before we end, here's another one, a conditioner formulation guide. Remember, ideal pH for our conditioner is 4 to 4.5. When an emulsion has low liquid lipid, add to very hot water to melt and emulsify. You'll see that later on one of the videos that I created for you. To create a beautiful hair conditioner, a hair with a pH of 4.5, which is actually negatively charged, you must introduce a positively charged substance such as a conditioner so that this positively charged substances will cling strongly to our hair shaft for beautiful feeling and effective detangler. An example of a positively charged substance is a cationic emulsifier like guar hydroxypropyl trimonium chloride or bihintrimonium chloride, bihintrimonium methylsulfate, and so on. Okay, cationics impart lubricity and anti-static properties and smoothness to the hair follicles. Cationics may be used alone or with co-emulsifiers. We'll find that out as we continue. Use of polyquaternary materials and higher levels of alcohol content will help us create a long, stable emulsion. Okay, conditioners need to be acidified at the end to be effective. That's why we will be adding citric acid solution at the end once the emulsion has formed so that we'll be able to alter the pH of our conditioning formula because the ideal one that we would like to achieve will be 4 and 4.5 pH. Okay, thank you so much. Once again, you will have as part of the attachment a nurturing conditioner formula and a barrier lip balm formula, which you will receive here once you receive your email. Thank you so much. I'll see you again on our next module and have fun formulating. Bye.